Fund NHIF cover, saying accessing the very services they offer has been a financial tall order. Now, this comes amid reports that doctors from various parts of the country who have contracted COVID-19 are struggling to foot their medical bills since the NHIF cover is unable to cater for COVID-19 related expenses. David Mudoka has the details.
Remarks by Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe before the Senate Health Committee on Wednesday that the National Health Insurance Fund NHIF cover will not cater for the treatment of COVID-19 seem to have rubbed health workers in the country the wrong way. The caregivers who are currently on strike have said the announcement is a blow to the already punctured efforts by health workers in the country who test COVID-19 positive to access affordable medical care, vowing to continue to down their tools until the government reacts to their grievances. Speaking in Migori, doctors from the Nyanza region have accused the government of eroding the gains made by the health sector in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic by sidelining them, despite medically laboring the COVID-19 burden in the past 8 months.
We have been forced, as is in the law, to withdraw labor until such a time when the county government of Migori will get serious, get back to work, and seriously take care of its healthcare workers, who are its frontline soldiers.
Comrades, power! Power! Comrades, power! Power!
In Nairobi, officials of health workers' unions reiterated the cry attributing the gradually soaring COVID-19 fatalities among doctors in the country on the government's negligence. As of today, 22 health workers in the country have died of COVID-19 and more than 2,000 others have been infected.
A good number of our members are actually in quarantine or in isolation because of how healthcare workers are suffering.
And we have been appealing to the Ministry of Health from May to date to address the same issue.
You can hear the cry of the health workers that you are the provider, but you cannot access the same services that you offer. It is a shame. Our people, united, shall never be defeated.
The strike could see the paralysis of the issuance of medical services being witnessed in public hospitals countrywide worsen as the country also witnesses a boisterous second wave of COVID-19 infections in recent days.
Now, healthcare workers insist they will not be cowed out of the streets unless their demands are met by the very government they have accused of giving with one hand and taking with the other as their strike transitions into the third week. David Muthoka, TV47, Nairobi.
And now on the BBI report, ODM boss Raila Odinga says the BBI roadmap will not be interfered with and the signatures collection exercise will commence next week and the referendum exercise should end as early as April next year. However, Raila has assured the coast leaders that their grievances will be factored in as DP Ruto and his allies call upon amendments on the BBI document, which they say will not be forced on Kenyans.
A day after President Uhuru Kenyatta made his address to the nation, assuring Kenyans of a great future through the Building Bridges Initiative report, now ODM boss Raila Odinga says the signature collection exercise will commence next week as per the BBI roadmap.
We want that exercise to be done as quickly as possible so that the matter can then be handed over to the Electoral Commission and then we can move towards the next phase of referendum.
Raila Odinga assuring the coast leaders that their grievances will be factored in during the editing of the document. However, the Building Bridges Steering Committee says any directive to amend the report will come from President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM boss Raila Odinga.
So they have a memorandum which already has been forwarded to the team that is doing some editorials on the report.
Coast leaders led by Mvita MP Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir assuring Raila Odinga of their support on the upcoming referendum.
Pili, watu wamekuwa wakizungumza ya kuwa mambo ya port na mambo mengine. Tumehakikisha ya kuwa mambo ya blue economy yatakuwa yako ndani ya katiba kama baba alivyoweza kusema ya kwa hani mapendekezo ambayo tayari tulikuwa tumeyapendekeza pale mbeleni.
Wale manabii waongo ambao wanazunguka ndani ya pwani ile kuambia wanapwani kwamba BBI haifai, mimi nataka kuhakikisha kwamba ama kuambia watu wetu wa pwani kwamba BBI ndio mwelekeo sasa. BBI ndio itamaliza shida zote za mpwani.
However, Deputy President William Ruto and his allies are holding on amendment to the report to ensure inclusivity and issues touching on common mwananchi are factored in.
How did we end up with a document with so many issues after a whole 2 years? That is the question that needs to be asked. So, as you ask why people are giving views now, you should ask yourselves why we have a document that has so many gaps and so many people have issues with it.
Yasoma jameni, na kwa sababu ni ya kusaidia Mkenya, haya tunataka mrekebishe, tunaona inafaa. Lakini kuna wale hata wakisoma na wakielezewa wako na yale yao ambayo wanataka kutimiza.
Kufika huko bunge, Raila Odinga akasema tusiweke koma wala full stop. Sasa tena anasema hakuna koma wala full stop. Mimi nataka kumuonya rais wetu, ukicheza na huyu mtu hata Papa Mtakatifu atakuja tena akuulize kwani tulikubaliana namna gani.
Sisi sio watu wa kulazimishwa. Your Excellency, just find a way of telling His Excellency that kama BBI will be sold and marketed by the Right Honorable Raila Odinga in the manner in which he's delivering his message, in the manner in which he's giving ultimatums.
Lakini hapa tunaambiwa kwamba tutatumia bilioni 14 kufanya kura ya maamuzi, ile ambayo sisi tunataka tusikizane, tuseme kwamba nisikize pia na mimi nitakusikiza, tukutane katikati, basi tusiende kwa wananchi ndio tutengeneze sheria. Kwa hivyo hiyo maneno ya collect signature ni kutumia tu kifua.
This comes even as the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission dismissed governor's proposal to remove collective responsibility on matters corruption in their counties. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47 Nairobi.
And now on to COVID-19 matters. Parents and adults in the country have been asked to lead by example in observing COVID-19 containment measures. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Belio Kipsang, says that school-going children are observing their adults, and as such, a majority of pupils are not strictly following the stipulated guidelines, following the laxity from their parents and guardians.
Speaking in Embu County after an inspection tour of the school's preparedness to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic and the distribution of desks to schools, Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang says parents and guardians are leading from behind in adhering to the stipulated measures in combating the spread of coronavirus, hence a ripple effect in the society and in schools.
We must contain corona. The first discipline should be at the household level, because our children are as safe as how we are disciplined as adults.
Kipsang says if parents and guardians will observe the measures religiously, the same will be replicated among children, hence containing the spread of COVID-19 in schools.
If we as adults are disciplined and adequately take care of ourselves, then we shall minimize taking the disease to our children in our homes. And when that happens, when we minimize that particular situation, then our children will be safe.
Kipsang says the spread of COVID-19 in schools is being contained and there is no cause for alarm. He says the ministry has recorded less than 200 cases in schools, and the situation in Bahati Girls in Nakuru and Kolanya Boys in Busia is being monitored, where 66 girls and 52 boys tested positive for the virus respectively.
We've not had any major challenges in terms of our schools being affected by COVID-19. Across the country also we have not had real serious challenges. And other than what you must have heard about Kolanya Boys in Busia and Bahati Girls in Nakuru.
We have worked very closely, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health through the Director of Public Health in Embu, to ensure that each school is actually connected to a health facility. But so far as Embu County, we don't have any case of corona in our schools.
Kipsang further says 75% of locally assembled desks have been delivered to various schools in the country to enhance social distancing among pupils and students. Mwangi Maina, TV47.
And President Uhuru Kenyatta has today launched a COVID-19 facility at the Nairobi Hospital. Now speaking during the event, the head of state said the state-of-the-art facility will boost the fight against COVID-19 infections in Nairobi County. And as Zainab Mohammed reports, the facility was probably full before Uhuru left, or the president left the presence of the hospital.
Good news for Nairobi residents and specifically the Nairobi Hospital after President Uhuru Kenyatta launched a new COVID-19 facility in the hospital. According to the hospital's board chairman Irungu Ndirangu, the hospital, just like many other private facilities in the country, is full due to a surge in COVID-19 numbers in the recent days. Irungu even insisting that immediately after the launch, all COVID-19 patients at the hospital would be moved to the facility to reduce congestion.
When COVID-19 pandemic broke out, we had to isolate some parts of the hospital and dedicate many hospital beds to COVID-19 patients. As we talk now, the beds are full. As soon as the launch is done, we are moving all the COVID-19 patients to this United Nations and the Nairobi Hospital treatment facility.
The new facility that was built courtesy of the United Nations in collaboration with the Kenyan government has a state-of-the-art equipment with a total of 100 beds and 45 intensive care units.
It is a fully fledged hospital with facilities from laboratories and operating theatres, projected to last more than 25 years. The facility, as we've been told, constitutes 100-bed medical facility, including 15 intensive care units, 45 high dependency units, and a 40-ward hospital.
This even as the total number of COVID-19 cases in the country rose to 68,193 cases after 1,470 more people tested positive for the virus in the last 24 hours. 791 people have recovered as 25 more people succumbed to the virus. Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
And President Uhuru Kenyatta has today officially opened the Maktaba Kuu building at the Kenya National Library Service in Nairobi. The construction of the library has taken close to 8 years, with the pioneer architects attributing the delay to the unique African drum concept exhibited by the building's exterior design. Musa Salah reports.
The Kenya National Library Services Maktaba Kuu building has opened its doors to the general public. Officiating the opening of the library, which has a sitting capacity of 5,000 people, President Uhuru Kenyatta directed Nairobi Metropolitan Services Director General Mohamed Badi to extend the non-motorized transport project to areas surrounding the library to allow the public to easily access the library.
General Badi here, we have agreed, is going to ensure that he's going to extend his NMT all the way here to make it easier for people to access this facility.
President Kenyatta has also promised to initiate talks with telecommunications giant Safaricom to install free Wi-Fi at the library to allow avid readers to read and do their research even outside the library buildings.
And I will see what I can do to push Safaricom to provide this area also with free Wi-Fi, so that people don't necessarily have to be inside, but can take advantage of beautiful gardens, do their reading, and enjoy.
Sports and Culture Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohamed also promised to conserve the gigantic library that is set to rival the British Library in the United Kingdom and the Library of Congress in the US.
We'll continue to build upon what you'll unveil, Your Excellency, here today
to create an institution of public operation that will endure as a yardstick in designing future public spaces, wholly responsive and adaptive to the needs of the public.
The construction of the library took close to 8 years, with the first phase of the construction beginning in April of 2012. But it seems this long wait was worthwhile, with architects tasked with designing the library attributing to the exterior design of the building that takes the shape of an African drum to symbolize the unity among Kenyans.
And this is a cultural building that we have given the Kenyan people, where we are proud of bringing Kenyans together using the symbol of the drum.
This phenomenal Maktaba Kuu building, which has a seating capacity of over 5,000 people, aims to develop a reading culture among Kenyans. Musa Salah, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Musa Salah, for that report. Many thanks for staying with us here on TV47 Weekend. Let's take a short breather. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Life is a journey, and we all have ups and downs, highs and lows, and celebrities are no exception.
Do you know I couldn't pay rent? Do you know there's a time I went 3 days without food? If you read my book, I ate Colgate for dinner.
On Coffee with Movie, we get up close and personal.
Nilizaliwa hivyo. Yes. Mimi sijawahi ona.
We have candid conversations that are inspiring.
Na acha nikwambie, mtu mmebarikiwa na mlikuwa nyote mko kwa line, mko kwa foleni. Huyu akibarikiwa si ametoka, bado foleni inasonga. Wewe ni next.
Humorous.
This is going to be the craziest interview ever.
And life-changing.
Success is value system and the legacy you leave.
Coffee with Movie, every Sunday at 8 p.m. only on TV47.
Every muscle, every bone is our concern.
A lot of pressure with both your hands, you're going to collapse the infant's chest.
Any pain.
There you go. You can calm down.
Any discomfort. We have just the right doctor.
I'm a consultant breast surgeon.
I'm an emergency care specialist.
A chiropractor.
With just the right remedy.
Majority of patients will actually just require supportive treatment.
Join us on Body Garage every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. because we care. How do you like your meals? Sweet and tasty or spicy and savory? On the Throwdown, we bring you our chef of the day. Gives you ideas on how to make amazing meals from the comfort of your home. Every Sunday from 6:30 p.m.
Life is a journey, and we all have ups and downs, highs and lows, and celebrities are no exception.
Do you know I couldn't pay rent? Do you know there's a time I went 3 days without food? If you read my book, I ate Colgate for dinner.
On Coffee with Movie, we get up close and personal.
Nilizaliwa hivyo. Yes. Mimi sijawahi ona.
We have candid conversations that are inspiring.
Na acha nikwambie, mtu mmebarikiwa na mlikuwa nyote mko kwa line, mko kwa foleni. Huyu akibarikiwa si ametoka, bado foleni inasonga. Wewe ni next.
Humorous.
This is going to be the craziest interview ever.
and life-changing.
Success is value system and the legacy you leave.
Coffee with More, every Sunday at 8 p.m. only on TV47. Every muscle, every bone is our concern.
A lot of pressure in both the hands.
Any pain,
Calm down.
any
Thank you so much
discomfort,
for being with us on
we
TV
have
47
just the right
Weekend. Remember, you can also
A
talk to us on
consultant
our
breast
SMS line
surgeon.
22047, on Facebook TV47 Kenya, as well
with
as on
just
Twitter
the right
at
remedy.
Majority of patients will actually just
TV47KA.
require
Now, a family in
supportive.
Ramana
Join us on
village
Body
in
Garage
Nyandarua
every Wednesday
County is
at
organizing the
8:30
bizarre
p.m.
killing of their loved one
Because
after an attack
we
by a
care.
group of youths calling themselves Nyumba Kumi. Meanwhile, Tigani residents have decried the rising number of people
How do you
falling
like
into
your
Tigani
meals?
Dam and now want the government to direct
Sweet and tasty.
32-year-old
or
Peter
spicy
Minor
and
met his
savory.
gruesome death on his way to rescue his brother when he was accosted by the gang and violently beaten to death with machetes and
On
other
the
crude
throwdown,
weapons.
we bring you our chef of the day. Gives you ideas on how to make amazing meals from the comfort of your home. Every Sunday from 6:30 p.m.
Nikifungua ndo waligonga banangu, mmoja ndo aligonga banangu kichwa.
Watu wanaenda ati wanasema ati ni wa nyumba 10 mavijana. Sasa walikuja wakafamilia hawa, wakabomoa nyumba, wakaenda kwa ndugu yake huyu mwingine hapa, wakaenda wakamkatakata. Sasa huyu ako kwa hospitali. Ndugu yake huyu kupigia huyo mwingine simu ati akuja amsaidie, malikutana naye hapa barabara na akauawa.
During the attack that took place around 4 a.m., one man and a 4-year-old minor were left with serious injuries, now recuperating at GM Karaoke Memorial Hospital.
Lakini uchunguzi imeanzishwa kujulikana hasa kama ukweli walikuwa wamehusika kwa mambo ya wizi, lakini tumekuwa tukipata report, sitaki kusema ambaye inahusika na hawa, ya kwamba kuna vijana wanahusika kwa uhalifu, na labda kama walipatikana kwa hiyo makosa hawangewawa. Hiyo ndio naweza sema.
Meanwhile, residents of Tigoni in Limuru have lamented of an increase in the number of people losing their lives in Tigoni Dam, residents agonizing that it has become an attraction for suicidal divers. On Friday, a 34-year-old man's body was retrieved from the dam. The deceased was alleged to have committed suicide.
Ambayo imekuwa ni damu ya kifo ambayo imechukua watu wengi. Juzi kulikuwa na mama ambaye alijirusha hapa na watoto wake wawili. Kulikuwa na mzee mwingine pia ambaye hapa tumekuwa hatumalizi hata mwezi mmoja kama hatujapata
Now, several organizations, including Transparency International and Center for Human Rights Organization in Uasin Gishu, have partnered with the judiciary in the North Rift region to create awareness to police officers and serious crimes offenders suspects ahead of the plea bargaining week in Eldoret and the marking of Anti-Corruption Day next month. Nairobi High Court Judge John Mativo will be part of 3 judges who will be sitting from 30th on November to 4th December during the plea bargaining week aimed at easing the backlog of cases.
The sensitization meeting for the police officers focuses on how to beef up investigations and avoid common technicalities that lead to charge sheets being thrown away because of poor investigations, lack of fairness and transparency.
Taken through how to do drafts of charge sheets and also doing investigations back in the communities and especially the stations they are coming from.
According to Abraham Misoi, there have been a lot of gaps in the way police officers carry out investigations on cases, hence making it difficult for justice to be served in the court process.
From the ODPP, from also the judiciary themselves, they say information from the ground, the police station, the investigations, the charge sheets, they come, sometimes they are thrown away because of those small technicalities.
And while speaking at Eldoret GK Prison during a sensitization meeting for more than 33 suspects who have made requests and already filled forms for plea bargaining, Justice Stephen Githinji said their requests will be processed and they hope to complete them within the same week.
Nini inanisuguka inaweza fanya koti isikie ilifunge kifungo cha chini.
Eldoret High Court Judge Stephen Githinji and presiding Judge Helen Omondi will be part of the team to help solve cases that have been pending in court for over 5 years. The suspects complained about advocates who disappeared in the course of their cases being tried in court in previous plea bargaining exercises.
Yule wakili ambaye unatarajia hayuko, mheshimiwa, tunaomba yule wakili yoyote ambaye yuko pale aweze kuchukua fursa.
The judges were categorical that plea bargaining is not about releasing the suspects but bargaining to reduce the sentences they are already serving. Calvin Chitwa, TV47, Uasin Gishu County.
Thank you, Calvin Chitwa, for that report. Now, smallholder tea farmers under KTDA produced a record of 373.8 million kilos of green leaf between July and October 2020, the highest production ever recorded within a period of 4 months in KTDA's history. Now, the 4 months production is 3.9% higher than 359.6 million kilos of green leaf recorded in the same period in 2019.
KTDA Managing Director Alfred Njagi has lauded the tea sector's tremendous performance, attributing the increase in green leaf production to favorable weather conditions in the tea growing areas and good farming practices by tea farmers. But there is little to smile about for tea farmers. On average, all teas at the Mombasa auction sold at $1.89 during this period, down from $2.01 in the corresponding period in 2019. This drop is linked to the higher supply of tea in the markets, a factor that is critical in determining a farmer's earnings at the end of the financial year. This is the third year in a row that prices have declined due to global supply surplus above market demand and in line with the 2018 Food and Agriculture Organization market forecast. Despite this, factories managed by KTDA Teas fetched better prices at the auction in the period under review, beating a similar period in 2019. The factories continue to work on improving operational efficiencies to reduce production costs through a number of new initiatives. The news comes days after the Senate rejected new regulations on government-initiated reforms in the tea sector, amongst other challenges. Linda Alela, TV47.
Now, the Kenya Film Classification Board, KFCB, led by the Chief Executive Officer Ezekiel Mutua, has partnered with Kisima Music and Film Awards in hosting 2020 edition of the award scheduled for 13th December 2020. Now, KFCB has supported the program with a 5 million check, where the top winner will walk away with 1 million shillings cash reward. Now, the top ranked winner will also be mentored and given business support to be able to employ other youths and will also receive international exposure. Now, Kisima Music and Film Awards Chairman Fred Simiu stated that the event is pan-African and it aims at building solidarity of Africa through music, creative creations and film making.
In this regard, I am glad to announce that the Kenya Film Classification Board will partner with this year's Kisima Film and Music Awards 2020 edition, scheduled to take place on the 13th of December this year, through our support in cash and kind to the tune of Kenya shillings 5 million. 5 million Kenya shillings is our sponsorship to this year's event.
I think this is a very big to the corporates in Kenya.
there is need to actually support the art, music, film, and creative industry. And this is an appeal to all these corporates, please. Let's see a way we can put our monies to this industry so that we can create employment for the youth. We want Africa to rewrite its story, to narrate a different narrative when it comes to film and music across the globe.
Congratulations, Chairman. This is from us to you,
really
and from the government of Kenya through the Minister of ICT, through the Kenya Film Classification Board under the Minister of ICT.